Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Got another one in. This is a Calcutta 400 BSV. Customer tells me he's got a couple of problems with it. One, he tells me that the reel doesn't whine a lot. You put it into free spool, you can cast, bring it up, well, and then you don't have winding going on. So there's a couple of things that I think are going wrong with it, but we're going to use this video to try and do more than that. We're going to try and do the problem diagnosis, and if there's an issue here with a part being needed, we'll kind of show you that. Now, the first thing I noticed right away as I was doing this, there's a tremendous gap between the handle and the star adjuster. That just shouldn't be. It kind of says that, well, you're maxed out on your drag, and well, that may or may not be an issue, but again, we're looking for the spool to engage, and well, we're not seeing it, so I don't know exactly what it is, but hey, that makes for a great video, right? We can do a little play along diagnosis, try and figure it out, and if parts are needed, well, we'll go show you how to figure out which parts are needed and tell you where to order them. Well, we're going to start by removing the handle assembly and the exterior parts. As I do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like the art of reel repair, if you like it as a hobby, if you want to learn more about fishing reels, how they're made, how to service them, and why they break. Well, this is a channel that you may enjoy, and I would encourage you to subscribe. I work on all kinds of reels. Those of you that have been watching for a long time, thank you for the sub, and well, I guess you can verify that I work on all kinds of reels. Because you're still with me and still learning, and that's kind of the idea here. The idea is to provide education, teach you how to do it yourself, and show you how the reels work and how to service them. Well, we removed the handle by taking off the little screw that holds the handle cap on, removing the 10mm nut, and now we're going to remove the star adjuster. And when you start to do this, you want to take a look at how do the internals line up against the way they're supposed to line up. Well, how do you know the way they're supposed to line up? Go and get a schematic off of the internet. Just put in Calcutta 400 reel schematic, and sites will come up that have these. And I pulled this one. I think the site was reelschematic.com. I pulled that. It's going to tell me a couple of things that I'm interested in. That drag stack is very low, so I'm kind of curious about the stack here. Also curious about what's on the main gear here, and I'm also curious about the trip mechanism over here and why that may or may not be engaging the spool. So let's take this off, see what we can learn, and this is a good place to tell you to take pictures as you start to disassemble your reel. Now, I'm taking pictures. I'm using a video camera. You can use a still camera. You can use, well, just about anything. Use your phone. Hey, use the old digital SLR. Use the film SLR if you like. But whatever it is, take the pictures. They do provide you a roadmap in terms of how you got to where you are, kind of in reverse order when you go to restore the reel, put it back together again. And it's always good to know. Well, we're missing one of these screws, and I did a quick search because he asked me if I could find the replacement screw. These screws are available still. They're available through southwesternparts.com, which is a Shimano parts distributor, and we're going to try and see if we can't get him a screw after we figure out what's going on. So these three screws are going to hold the side plate. This is our side plate. And then we have the spool on this side. Well, the spool is driven from the gear side, so we don't have to worry too much about the non-gear side being the cause of the issue. Every now and then you find some really strange stuff. And one time I found that this little crossbar here, it's a pin, but the crossbar here had broken off. So if the pinion gear can't grab that crossbar, it's the spool's not going to spin, right? That pinion gear is grabbed. You can see there's a corresponding slot. We'll get underneath this, but there's a corresponding slot in the back side of the pinion gear which is going to grab that. So I see that this is moving in and out crazy. I'm going to say that that might be a cause right there. Look at this. It just flops in and out. So something is not right there. All right, let's take the other screw off. There's two screws that hold the inner case on. And this will probably provide us with the first look at what's going on here. Before I pull the rest of it off, let's take the top off. We have 4 tension washers. Remember what I said, one of the areas I want to look at is this area right here. And that indeed has 4 tension washers. So we're in pretty good shape with that. The 2 screws are off. I'm going to take these and put these into my parts tray. And let's pull off the side plate assembly and see what's going on here. Well, we have the issue right away. I can see it. Can you see it? I don't know who was in this reel, what they did, but this is kind of interesting. We have a spring here and a spring over here. Why it's floating in the side plate case, I have no clue. And if you go to your schematic, I know this reel, but if we go to the schematic, those springs are going to show up here on the pinion gear, right there, not on the other side. So that's why when I was looking at the other side, this is just free floating now, right? It's coming in and out. You can see it's coming in and out because there's no resistance. Nothing's pushing this back. So it won't engage the spool when it's sitting in a disengaged mode on this reel. All right, well, we don't even have to order parts for this one other than the side plate screw because the parts are there. They were just installed incorrectly. Looks like it's been going on a while. This doesn't look like new grease here. So I don't know if he just got lucky and it's just hasn't broken in a while, or he just woke up one day and said, you know what, something's just not right with this reel. But over here is our trip lever. So when you push down on the trip lever, it's going to be here, pushing down. And you can see how that pops the gear out. That disengages the spool. When you go to flip it back, let's see if we don't blow a spring here. When you go to push it back, it resets and it drops this in. Those 2 springs sit on these 2 posts right here. And they rest up against the side case to put pressure downward to hold that in. Well, if that pressure isn't there, it's not being held, right? All right, let's take a quick look on the inside of this. Let's see if we can't get this off. It's never an easy thing to get these main gears off. We'll see what we can do. Kind of even tension. You also have to walk this backup anti-reverse off when you're doing this. And I just never seem to get these off easily. It is a bunch of old grease on there. I'm going to take these off. See if I can remove as much tension. These are the ones that trap onto the post, that gear post there. And make it harder for that main gear to get off. There's 3 washers in this set. It's a 6 washer set. There's one that's the wide washer below, and then the rest hold that post pretty close. Just keep working it. It will come out. And it looks like I knocked the click ratchet off here in the dog. That's okay. With the click ratchet dog, we've removed the pinion gear and the yoke. Now these are Carbon Tex or hard washers. You just need to clean them. They always seem to have a lot of dirt on them. But still not finding it curious on the spacing between them. Maybe missing a washer there. And I'm thinking somebody had this reel apart. They possibly didn't put it all in. We're going to come back and look at that stack in a little bit. All right. Everything is good underneath here from what I see. It's nice and clean. If it wasn't clean, go ahead and clean it. I'm just going to use a little bit of fishing reel oil. I'm just going to throw a little bead underneath this assembly here, which is going to move back and forth with the click or the free spool ratchet. Let's inspect the pinion gear. That's in good condition. A little bit of grease. So you always find some interesting things. And sometimes folks will tell you, you know, that I was working on the reel and I'm stuck, and sometimes I don't know what happened. This is a case of I don't know what happened, and maybe a friend told them that they could fix the reel for them. I'm not sure. And my whole idea is give the reels a second chance. Really don't care what happened in the past. Let's just get it out there and fishing again. All right, I've greased the pinion gear, put it in the yoke, and put the yoke on the assembly. Now you see where the springs go. Or whatever kind of grease was on this stuff, it's pretty tight stuff. All right, there's a washer that goes. Let's put the click ratchet on and put the washer on. This is a traditional old style dog. This is a backup, a fail-safe on the anti-reverse. The primary is an instant anti-reverse roller bearing in the case. Set it up this way, and then bring that over your stud, over the gear sleeve, over the stud, bring it in, bring it down, and then make sure that your ratchet, it's got a square on it. Make sure that the square is sitting square in the main gear stem. And you can bring that spacer in. You need that spacer because your anti-reverse dog is thick. If you don't put the spacer in, the main gear is going to grab that. We have the main gear. Check the teeth on this. I did a quick one, but we'll do it anyway. Bring a hard brush in to pull through. Make sure all your teeth are clean, that they're uniform, that they're not chipped or cracked or bent. That certainly you can feel that in the performance if that was the issue. Bring this back in. Get a good amount of grease on. Use fishing reel grease only. I'm using Penn Precision reel grease here. You could use Shimano reel grease, of course, and anybody else's as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a proponent of any one particular grease other than that you use a fishing reel grease. Yeah, see that last little lick there in terms of putting that in is a little tough, and so it makes it a little tough when you bring it out. There's 3 metal washers and 3 of the drag washers. The first one is the wide one. I didn't bother taking that out. The next one is the round one with the rectangular hole. Next one up is another drag washer. Next one in is what's called the eared washer. It has the 2 points on it, and they fit into the slot in the gear. Last of the fabric washers. And then this is the thicker one. And the thicker one accepts the inner collar from the anti-reverse. That's this piece here that's still in the case. This one has a lot of grease on it. I don't recommend greasing the anti-reverse roller bearing or the collar. It's going to cause it to slip. It's a friction-driven device. Make sure that the 2 tags from that sit in those slots. Well, this is the way the assembly should be, with the springs in the right place. And we're going to call this one operator error in terms of why fishing reels fail. Clean the back up. Oil the bearing in the case. Now that we know what the issue is, bring your spool out. Oil the case on this side. That's a bearing there. There's one more bearing. Chop that silly line there. Let's get that out. Oil the bearing on this side. We still didn't get that line out. Or did we? Alright, so maybe the BSV means we don't have a level wind. That's possible. I don't know what BSV would stand for. That's short for no level wind, but there you go. Alright, case goes back on. Press down when you align the holes in the case with those 2 studs that are holding the springs. Let's put this back on now. I'll grab one of these case screws. Well, whatever was on those drag washers certainly left a trail of tears here. There's a whole bunch of grease on this. I'm going to put this back on now. I have no doubt that having those springs in the wrong location. Okay, I just do this by habit. When you go to reinstall a Calcutta side plate, pull down on the trip lever so that it is set. Pull down on that piece right there. Pull up on the bar. Pull up on the bar, down on the lever, align your holes, and that will set the case nice and tight. Don't trap the bar in the wrong position. Okay, we're going to tighten the 2 screws. We don't have the 3rd one. I did see it is available. I may just try and see if there's another screw size out there that I could substitute at the moment. You can turn it now, it should trip it back. It won't work yet because we don't have the drag installed. We have 4 of these tension washers, they're bent. And if I look on the assembly here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should be a flat one. That would extend out the leverage. Well, we have the 5th, it's hiding in here. So we have all of the washers, so that's still a little odd, but okay, maybe there's one that goes low. You could always take an extra washer if you feel that you're not getting the right tension to it. Go ahead and take another one. And what I'm doing is I'm setting these in a forward and back so that I have some spacing on those tension washers. We didn't have spacing with the other. Just trying to get that last washer out of the piece here. Now it just wants to sit there. Trust me, there's a washer in there. We'll just go ahead and put this back on. Let's tighten this down. Oh. Make sure that you're square on the handle, on the post. If you're not square on the post, don't force anything. You're going to cross strip it. There we go. And then you can hold the post. Tighten that up. Yeah, we have more room now, right? So I don't know if that was because of the floating yoke. I kind of doubt that unless that was in some way affecting the placement of the main gear. But we have more space. It also could be that I changed the orientation on those tension washers. That'll give you a little bit more space as well. Let's tighten down the nut. Generally speaking, if you're perpendicular, flat side to the screw hole, then your cap will fit right on. And it does. The holes align. And let's see now when we go trip this whether we have a spool that's turning or not. I can't wait to talk to Brett to find out where and what did happen with this reel. Turn it. Oh, we've got an operating piece. Let's go into free spool. Probably a little bit tight on that spool adjuster. Nice quiet reel. Make sure it trips back. Hold your tension. Yeah, we gotta tighten that down a little bit. Full tight, and that's good. We still have a screwdriver's blade worth of drag space there, so always good. And that's it. So wow, a little bit of discovery, a little bit of understanding about the mechanics of the reel, a big assist from the schematics, and that's going to tell you the process to go about diagnosing any reel with a particular issue to it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks for staying on the watch here. If you wanted a little bit more leverage on that drag, you can pull the handle and put another spacer washer in there. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a Shimano washer. That'll give you a little bit more spacer, but for now, we're fine with that. And the issue there, not issue, but the cause of that is those drag washers are just so thin on these Shimanos. Well, to our first responders and essential personnel, thank you for all it is that you've done to keep us safe. I truly do appreciate all of your efforts. To everybody, please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. Have a great time servicing your fishing reel, tackle, and equipment. Keep it ready to go fishing because they're out there. And no time better than now to take the right steps to ensure a successful day on the water. So to everybody, please enjoy your weekends, enjoy your holidays, enjoy your time at sea. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.